Hey guys, Chris again from ClassicVWBugs.com. This is part 3 of heater channel replacement on my 53 Beetle. Picking up where we left off last time, we took all the heater channels out, and now we're just kind of cutting away the bad metal that's left on the door posts and rear quarters. What Serio's doing here is, again, with an oxygen and an acetylene torch, he's cutting out the old heater tube that comes from back area where the motor, pushes heat into the car. Heater channels usually do not come with these tubes, so we want to save these. Early style tubes varied in canister looking type tubes to later models where they were just basically a straight tube or a Y tube that puts that heat under the back seat as well, that push out by the floor. But the early models just had one tube that went straight from the back by the motor, from the heat boxes into the car and then into the heater channel. So we're going to have to attach this later on. And he's just removing some of the old rust. See that old crusty rust that's right under the quarter there? We want to get rid of that. You see that where the quarter line is? We're just going to get rid of that metal. Again, you can use a sawzall or a grinder, anything like that to take these off with a blade if you don't have a torch like this. I know some people commented that this torch would kind of warp the metal if it's too hot, but it actually didn't do that with this car. So plasma cut or something like that might do something, but other than that, it was okay. Now he's just kind of setting the heater channel up into place, just to test fit. As you can see, it goes all the way up to the butt end there, to the front firewall. And so far so good. Looks pretty good. A lot of trial and error, a lot of test fitting. So what we're doing now is we actually bolted the heater channels down to the floor pans, which is where they go, and we're going to lower the car down onto the chassis to see how it lines up. Just lower slowly. If you don't have a lift, of course, you might need a couple people, to lift it in the front, lift it in the back, and to drop it slowly. And we're getting there.
Yeah.
Alright, so now we got the body down on the chassis, and we're looking at the line where it marries to the heater channels and where we're going to have to do our work. As you can see, it lines up pretty nicely. Again, these are the non-duct heater channels. Let's do a little bit of work there. And of course the inner fender wells, we're going to have to add some new sheet metal, which they buy new, of course. So now these non-duct heater channels, of course, don't have a heater outlet. So these early bugs, like I said, these work really well with the early bugs. So we have to drill the heater outlet for this car. Usually 55 and earlier bugs, there's not on the main market today. There's you're going to have to fabricate something to make the heater channels work, or you go with Gerson from ClassicFab.com. But we also have to add a heater tube on the top of the channel that then goes up to the windshield. There's usually always a tube in the trunk that you can see that goes up to the windshield to blow hot air up there. So we have to fabricate something here as well, and weld a tube on top of the channel, a pipe, so we can attach our heater tubes to go up later. And the reason we picked these channels, again, is they're more user friendly for the earlier models. If you have a 56 and later, they do sell channels on the market where the heat outlets and these tubes are already set up in place. Now Serio's also, we lifted the body back off, and now Serio's basically cleaning up the rest of the rusty metal. As you can see here, we took out the old cross members. A lot of times where the heater channel butts up to the back part of the car, those cross members are shot, and there's usually a big hole back there, a big gaping hole. So we have to get new cross members here as well. If you have any questions, Chris at ClassicVWBugs.com, and more parts to come.